Thanks for sticking with us, folks. Now, Steve and I will review all Canadian teams in the NHL. For those who are new to hockey, there are 7 active NHL franchises located in Canada. They are Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Vancouver, and Winnipeg alphabetically. The first one in the league was Montreal Canadiens. They were founded in 1909 and helped create the NHL in 1917. Soon followed by them were the Toronto Maple Leafs, in 1919, and they came in as the Toronto Arenas, only to become the Leafs in 1927 when they changed management. The next current NHL team from Canada wouldn't come until the 1970 expansion when Vancouver joined the league as the Canucks. 9 years later, the NHL absorbed the WHA to bring in the Edmonton Oilers, which are still in the league to this day. Next were the Calgary Flames in 1980, previously the Atlantic Flames, but they were relocated due to revenue and arena issues at the time. Then came Ottawa Senators a little over a decade later in the 1992 expansion. And lastly, the Winnipeg Jets. They were introduced into the NHL after the Atlanta Thrashers moved there in 2011. As you can tell, Atlanta does not do well with NHL teams.
No.
Other Canadian teams in the NHL were the Ottawa Senators in 1917, but they were a different franchise than the one we have today. The Quebec Nordiques in 1979. They were a part of the WHL expansion. The Hamilton Tigers in 1920. They were sold to a New York management team. And the Winnipeg Jets in 1979, another WHA team, and they were relocated to Phoenix.
Lucky
Sorry
them.
about that, Steve. Yes, let's get into it, buddy. So hopefully that's a decent breakdown for all the new hockey fans, or maybe some that are looking to gain a bit more knowledge.
That was a good breakdown, man.
Thank you. You're probably gonna have to play that in slow motion to be able to pick any sense out of it, but
No, man.
we'll see.
That's quality.
Thanks, buddy. What team would you like to start with?
I think we're gonna go worst standings wise to best currently as of this date, and that would leave us with Montreal first. And we're gonna talk about what they need to be successful.
Cool.
I had a few notes here I'm gonna discuss. Excuse me, fucking beer gets right to me, starts burping.
Not bad
But
for you.
no, these are my opinion, obviously. And
Yeah, all mine is opinion as well.
Yeah, so there's no facts or real hard statistics here. It's just like what I know and discussing it. So I believe that Montreal needs a full rehaul. I think what the management they had, and when it got changed, they went from Bergevin. Now they're with Kent Hughes and Jeff Gorton as president. Carey Price is gone for the full year. They've lost their captain in Weber. I think their run was good. It was great to watch. Not for me, I'm a Leafs fan, but pretty much everybody else.
The rest of Canada enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. So it was good, but I feel like it was a one-time thing. I think they know that, and I think they've realized that. That's why changes are being made, and I think all hockey fans realize that. I think they should keep the young pieces that they have, but a lot of the forward depth and a lot of defensemen, I think they're expendable for better draft choices and prospects and whatnot. Players that I believe they should consider keeping are probably Romanov, Caulfield, Jake Evans, Nick Suzuki. A few young pieces like that, and then you got to keep a couple guys around like a Savard, on the blue line, just so you're not total dog shit.
Yeah, because Savard really is the powerhouse in Montreal.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's something. He's better than a lot of players in Montreal right now.
Pumping the beer the young kids up and keep the kids.
Yeah, exactly. You need that there. I don't think there's a solution in Montreal. I think there's just you got to take your time down. You got to rehaul, and that's evident when a new general manager came in.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Full rehaul. Listen to this, Steve. Jake Allen, Sam Montembeault, and Price are all injured right now. This team needs attendee right now, I think. Caden Primo is a starter right now. Like, he's your future. You don't want him playing too much. The same reason Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen isn't playing in Buffalo, because you don't want his confidence to fucking go down to the bedrock.
You don't want to give him the Carter Hart treatment.
Yeah, that's right. So I think they should look to target someone right now until Primo is ready. I know you don't want to be doing that, but I mean, like Jake Allen's out 8 weeks, so I don't know how long Sam Montembeault's gone, but you need someone there instead of just Primo and just AHL goalies. Without their captain Weber as well, their blue line is pretty shit. Petrie is there, but he's not having a great season this year. Ben Sherratt's on his way out at the trade deadline, so I don't know. They're gonna need some young D-men to step in next year. It doesn't matter if it's Romanov or Kate and Gooley. They really need someone to get there and start making some progress. As far as the forward group goes, I think they have some good names, but none of which are playing good right now. Especially like Suzuki, Caulfield, these young guys that were expected to do more aren't doing what I think they can. I think we can realistically expect them to start moving pieces at the deadline, pieces like Toffoli, Armia, and Hoffman, maybe even like Lehkonen or something, because those are really good. Like I know Toffoli is going to cost the team an arm and a leg, so maybe not him.
First.
Exactly, but maybe players like Armia, Hoffman, and Lehkonen would be good for the third or just middle six forward for long playoff runs.
Cheaper.
I think exactly. I think those three options are good for any team. Like overall, this team needs to be tore down and rebuilt, like you said. It's too bad like Price, Gallagher, and Weber couldn't get their cup there, but I mean that's hockey. So
it's tough, man. Sorry, my fucking throat's like a bit messed up here. I mean, it's all you can do. I mean, you're making that run. That's hard to replicate, especially when you weren't even in the playoffs. Really, like, was that the year before?
When they beat the Penguins? Before they beat Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but they weren't like in by long shot either. Like they were just on the border. Like they were wild card.
No, they just snuck in there. They had a really good.
It's just one of those runs.
Really good March and April.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Nice. Is that all for
what team you want to do next?
Well, going garbage-wise, we have Ottawa.
All right, let's do it. What do you got on Ottawa?
I actually like Ottawa a lot. I think their team is really, it's going to be really good. Not good because they're not, but they're going to be really good. I've wrote here, Ottawa's a great young core. But I think when Dorian said they were going to make the playoffs, I think he was wrong. I think they're at least 2 years out from the playoffs.
Dude, he was only saying that to get people to buy season tickets. He wasn't saying that.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit. Yeah, well, he wanted to believe it. But I think there's a tremendous amount of good prospects. I think they got one of the best prospect pools within the league, and I think they're top 3 prospect pools. They must be. I mean, they've been gathering assets for years since Carlson left, and it's only a matter of time before they break through. I think the only thing they should be doing is just drafting more players and just playing hockey. I don't think you make big moves. I don't think you signed that big free agent yet. I think you just wait and you just play a couple of years of good hockey and get better. Unfortunately, I believe that Dorian will not be the general manager when they start to succeed. It's going to be one of those things where you build it, but there's still that urgency. So you're going to get pushed out, and the time that the players you draft do become successful, you're not going to be there to witness it. I think that's what's going to happen here.
That's a really good insight if it comes true, man. I wasn't even thinking as far as management and stuff. I just kept it on ice kind of thing. But that's a good call. I never thought about that.
Yeah, thanks.
We have a lot of the same opinions. I think we're gonna have a lot of the same opinions on a lot of these teams. Because I like that call where I really like their forward core too. And defenseman like Shabbat, I'm really excited to see what he can do. Like you said, they probably got a top 3 prospect pools in the league. I'd say they're in there with the Kings and Detroit as far as prospect pools right now. And probably have the best defensive prospects. They have a lot of...
100%.
I should have got some names, but I mean Jake Sanderson, Lassie Thomas, or Thompson, and...
Bernard Docker.
Exactly. Like they got a lot of really good defensemen that's going to come in and be really good contributors. The thing that I was going to say when you're talking about prospects is I'd like to see them address goaltending a bit. I would have liked to see them address it last season. I mean, they had their choice at Casa or Wallstead, but they decided to go with Tyler Boucher.
Oh, he's doing so bad at 10. So bad. I mean, he was drafted at 10. He's doing so bad.
He was drafted 10th overall, and I really think they should have went with a goalie there instead of Tyler.
Yeah, I think that's a pick that's gonna you're going to look back and say that's probably the worst pick in that draft. Unfortunately, I mean, I'm sure he's a good guy and whatnot, but he's not having a great year. I know he wasn't drafted for his offensive skills either. He was drafted for his toughness and his two-way play. Last 10 games he's played in NCAA, he's got 0 points. He's -5.
Yeah, I mean that's brutal, man.
Apparently, he's moving to the OHL.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully that does better to him because you hate seeing top 10 picks kind of not work out. But I mean, a lot of people were surprised that they took him this high. I think his dad might have been involved with the organization, so they're trying to build like family ties there. I didn't like that pick at all. Yeah, just go over like a bit of their review. I think they got the shittiest goaltending in the league, maybe, and they've had shitty goaltending since like 2012. I can't remember the last good goalie that was there. Maybe Hasek, maybe Ray Emery.
Craig Anderson was decent. I mean, he was an all-star.
Yeah, he was good when he was in his prime. You're right, but I mean, like I said, that was back in like 2012, man. Like they haven't had a good goalie since. They thought Matt Murray was going to be the answer, but he's just I don't know. He's just takes up cap space. And
Matt Sogard, young goalie they drafted a couple years ago. He's a pretty decent prospect, and they have Philip Gustafsson. I think they're holding him out.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I think they're holding Gustafsson out. I think they're giving him a little bit longer while the team gets better. Kind of like Montreal with Primo and whatnot.
Yeah. Their defensemen are still young and learning. I would have liked to see more out of this year from Shabbat Brandstrom and even Jacob Bernard Docker. I would have liked to see him in the NHL. But I guess that's it. When you're on a bad team, your defensemen are going to pay the price. I think Darlene last year was something like minus like 30. So that's just it, I suppose. I really like the forward core that they built there. Their top players like Stützle and Kachuk only got like one more season until they're consistent point per game players, I think. Even the rest of their team, top six, were like sneaky surprises. Like Batherson was drafted in the 4th round, and he's point per game. Josh Norris was acquired from the Sharks, and he's just below point per game. And Connor Brown's a 6th round pick by the Maple Leafs. He was acquired in the trade or something.
Leafs were dumping cap.
Yeah, and he's on pace for 50 points. I mean, they've got a really good forward core here. Their defensive core, like I said, is only going to get better. And yeah, I wish they would have got their franchise goalie last year, but I guess they're going to have to rely on Sogard or, like you said, Gustafsson.
Mm-hmm. Well, to wait and see. One thing I'm going to argue with there is I don't see Tim Stützle being a point per game player in the NHL.
I do, buddy.
I think Byfield was the better player, and I think we're going to see that over the next couple of years.
All right. I'd like
to stand by that.
Prove me wrong on the Byfield thing, but I think you're so wrong with the point per game thing.
I don't see it, man. I think he's a 50, 60 point scorer at best.
I'm trying to think of who I can.
That's my opinion. I like that take for myself. It makes me feel tough.
All right. Well, I won't burst your bubble yet.
Don't ruin my fucking.
No, this is the only thing you got against Ottawa, so I'll give it to you for now. I think in a couple years' time you're gonna regret that one.
Eat my words.
Yeah. So anyway, what Canadian team next?
We got the barbecue Bruce Hounds, as I call them, the Vancouver Canucks.
All right. Sweet.
They got a solid core, but I don't think they have the right depth pieces to win. I think they took a massive hit a few years ago when they lost Chris Tanev on the blue line.
He was a shot blocking machine, man.
He was a bigger part of that blue line than people really knew. Him and Quinn Hughes were like an unstoppable pair that year.
I'm sure that was more Quinn than Tanev, but he contributed. Sure.
He held down the fort defensively and let Quinn shine offensively. So
that's true.
It goes both ways, I think. They need to acquire top 4 stay-at-home defensemen. I don't think Mars is an answer. I don't think any of those guys are answers. I think they need a good defenseman. Somebody like a Brian Dumoulin type. That makes sense. Good,
Yeah. I can't see Pittsburgh giving them up, but yeah.
No, but a player that resembles that.
Yeah. True.
And I think their bottom 6 needs to change. I don't think they have good players in their bottom 6. I think they need to get a player who's won a cup. I think they need experience. And I just need to restructure that bottom 6 to win and bring in that good top 4 defenseman. They're going to have to move money. I think OEL, bringing him in, I think that was an absolute mistake. He's past. He's not as good as what he was. He's a shadow of what he used to be. He's not near.
I think his confidence is down. I think we can see that again to a lesser extent, but he's got to get his confidence up. I mean, everybody in the world is shitting on him right now, so he's not gonna
break
out like that again.
But I believe Bruce can turn this around, and I think next year Canucks are probably going to be in the playoffs. I think next year they do make it. I think he fixes what's going on in Vancouver.
Yeah, I like that breakdown. Yeah, I'm going to touch on some things that you did and some things that you didn't. So goaltending for me is fine. Personally, I'm a huge fan of Demko. Even on a bad Canucks team, he was playing well at the beginning of the season and was even like stealing some games for him. DiPietro is fine when he comes in. He's going to be a decent backup, and I think he can just give Demko some starts. Defense is absolutely horrendous. I think this is the worst part of this team, obviously. They just give up so many goals, and they're just not defensively reliable. They have, I don't know, they gave up way too much for OEL too, and it sucks that it didn't work out. But I don't know. I was a fan of OEL coming in, but seeing that it didn't work out, that sucks personally. And I also think they have 3 or 4 guys in the lineup that are bottom 6 or 7th defensemen that they just have, and they have no use for them because you only need like
2.
I don't know, 2 or 3 bottom 6 or 7th defensemen. So they're just like sitting in the AHL where you could trade them to a bad defensive team for at least picks. So that's one thing. You just can't have that. I mean, you got bottom 6 players playing in your top 4. I mean, that's just brutal. Quinn Hughes looks for like a bright spot as always. I mean, like you said, he needs a defenseman as a partner. There's no way you're going to stick him with an offensive defenseman and they're not giving up like 3 goals a game. Their forward core looks nasty on paper, but just can't put it together on ice. I think Pettersson and Besser should be running through that weak Pacific Division, but just like aren't even the best players on their team. So I don't know how the hell that works. But honestly, I wouldn't even try to address any of these problems until at least the off season. I would get out of this season, just tank for a good draft pick and just probably try to acquire one of the top defensemen in the draft because there's a nice few going in the first round that can seriously make your team a lot better. For me personally, I think they should just like save it this year, just get out of this season, just try to finish probably in the top 10, try to steal a defenseman out of it, and just start new next year. Let Bruce come in and just run things his way. And he'll whip that team into shape, man. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. I think out of all the Canadian teams, this is the one that's disappointed me a lot. I really want to see Pettersson break out as a superstar in this league, but I don't know. And that's saying something too, how fucking shit the Oilers are doing. That this is the most disappointing Canadian team for me. I had my hopes up for Vancouver this year, but
they don't have it this year, man. They don't have
unfortunately not, man, which sucks. But I think they just
Bruce is doing a great job. They're starting to win, but I think they're too far gone.
Yeah. I don't know if Oilers aren't picking it up and those California teams, come back down to earth. They might slip in there.
It's not over, man.
Not over until fucking April, buddy, or March.
Yeah, I was gonna say the fat lady sings, but all right.
Fat lady sung enough. Give her a break. But.
Hey, man. She's like me. My voice hurts now or something. I've been coughing, man. Beer's got to me or something.
Gotta be careful.
I know, man. You got to be careful, man. When you're hosting a famous podcast, I mean, you
gotta. I don't know.
You gotta take care of yourself,
flu game, man. This is your flu game. You got to play through it.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself, man. I mean, I'm up to the utmost physical and mental health when I'm in this insane podcast business, running the charts on iTunes.
Yeah.
It takes a lot. Man.
It takes a toll on your body, man, sitting here talking about hockey. Like,
it's not
nobody
easy.
realizes, man, but this is probably one of the most physically demanding jobs in Newfoundland right now.
Probably on the planet. I don't know if there's a more difficult job that you don't get paid for on the planet.
Yeah. I don't know. Fucking construction workers out there in the middle of winter got something easy compared to what we're doing, but
they don't even understand.
No, they don't. It gets paid better too. It's shocking, but what fucking inequality.
We need a union. Hockey Tank Union.
The Podcasters Union of Newfoundland.
We're the only people
Local
there.
4 2069. What's our next Canadian team, buddy? What's our next Canadian team?
Just rambling. Absolutely rambling.
I know, man. Do you think Don Cherry would be the head of the union?
I hope so. He's
got a podcast grapevine, man. He's a fucking beauty. Him and his son Tim runs it.
Yeah, that's sick. I've watched a few episodes. Anyways, the next garbage team is the Edmonton Oilers, to nobody's surprise.
Are we ever
Because
going to get to a Canadian team that's not garbage?
we will. It's the last one on my list.
Fair. As the list goes, I suppose. You're right.
They have no goaltending and no depth. They have no scoring depth. They have McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. Beyond that, they have Nurse too, I guess. Barry sometimes. This team falls apart. They don't compete for a full 60 minutes. They don't have players who can compete for a full 60 minutes at a high enough level. I think they need to completely tear apart the depth, the bottom six on this team. I think they need to reconsider a lot. Carl Turris is not great. Devon Shore is not great. Tyler Benson's not doing it yet. You need guys who can score. I got a couple of examples here of players who could fit and probably score more. They could score like 10 to 15, 20 goals a year. A guy like Luke Cunnan in Nashville, Danton Heinen in Pittsburgh. You build your bottom six with players who are proven. You don't bring in guys who don't have a fucking clue. So fix it, Ken Holland. And you need to have skill. You need to have a bit of skill in the bottom six. You need to have players that can shoot the puck well, and they certainly don't have that. Zach Cassian shoots the puck like a fucking monkey on skates. It's actually horrendous to even witness with my eyes. But my eyes bleed out every time I see Cassian go on the rush. But it's time to get a new goalie too. Koskin's not even that bad. It's just Edmonton just brutally damaged this guy mentally. It's just like, I feel so bad for him. He's probably like got his bags packed, just wait and leave. And I don't blame him. I'd be the same thing. I wouldn't even show up anymore if I was him. It's time to get a new goalie. It's time to get better depth. And if it's not done in 2 years, Edmonton's going to be down in San Jose. Or not Edmonton, McDavid's going to be down in San Jose having a cold beer and relaxing with a Stanley Cup ring down somewhere like that. It's not going to be in fucking Edmonton. Fix it.
Did you
That was a
you want to
quick
go back
ramble.
and say something like a bit on the negative side there? I was like, you have your pros and cons, but you want to go back and throw in a con or something? Something you think they can that's not going well in Edmonton, or because you didn't just fucking list off every goddamn thing in the book for the Edmonton Oilers. Oh God.
Wait, there's one good thing.
What's that? Leon and Connor.
No. Zach Hyman, formerly.
Yeah, true. Buddy, I'll get to him. Don't. All right, you just took off the muzzle now for the.
Your turn. I got my rant about the Oilers, but I think they should be so good, man, but they're not. So it kind of makes me upset for them.
I know. This is the second most.
Their fan base hasn't endured enough, man. They literally drafted Nail Yakupov. This team's been through enough. This team's fan base. So just fix it.
Dude, well, before Connor and Leon got there, they traded away every first-round pick they had. They had Jordan Eberle. They had Nail Yakupov. They had Taylor Hall. All gone now. They don't keep prospects long enough to see them through. They trade him fucking Adam Larson.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm going to say a statement right now that kind of contradicts your statement, but they're getting the worst goaltending in the league right now. Smith keeps getting injured, which is acceptable because he's fucking 47 years old. Koskinen is an overpaid AHL goalie. I do think he's as bad as everyone says. And Stuart Skinner just doesn't have an experience. I'm going to say 3 names right now, and I want you to tell me who Edmonton Oilers pick up. Marc-Andre Fleury, Grubauer, or Varlamov. Which one are you getting?
Varlamov.
I thought so too. And I was thinking, like, why would Islanders give him up? And it's because Islanders are goddamn garbage this year as well. They're not making playoffs in that division. Not a chance. So they might as well trade Varlamov and get something for him.
Exactly.
The only thing is Varlamov has 2 years
left Vezina winner,
which would put Stuart Skinner, Mike Smith, and Koskinen in a really bad spot. I think you pick up Varlamov and buy out Koskinen. I mean, his contract is not worth keeping there.
I don't think Edmonton can buy out any more players, though. I think they're full of buyouts.
Who they got? Who they got on buyouts?
Like everybody, like James Neal and fucking a lot of players, man. As far as I know, yeah.
Oh man, I was thinking like as soon as the calendar hit July, I mean, Koskinen would be off my books. I know that.
No, you'd find a way. You trade him to somebody, then they buy him out. You trade him to Arizona, and Arizona buy it out.
That's right.
But you have to give up like a
Right.
second or third round pick, so you're, you know.
Yeah, but I mean, that's worth it to me because then next year I'm making the playoffs for Varlamov, so I don't give a fuck what happens, Koskinen. See you later. Go to the desert, man. That wouldn't even be a bad spot. He could play with Vejmelka. Since got
Yeah.
Wedgwood back down, and you could play Koskinen in Arizona because Arizona's not where the fuck anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm there.
Good idea.
Defense on this team are a young bunch, and I like the diversity of drafted players and acquired players. I think it makes for a good mix. Like a lot of people, including myself, would say like you have to really draft your core, but I think in some cases you don't have to draft everyone. Like I like how they brought in Tyson Berry. They complement Darnell Nurse. I really like Darnell Nurse. Actually, I'm a huge fan of him. Chris Russell's not bad for a sixth defenseman, man. I don't like Chris Russell, man. I like some. He eats pucks too, man. Who else even on that team? Bouchard's a bit young. He needs
Bouchard's good.
he needs more reps, but he's going to be a defensive player too. I like to see them with another top four defensive defenseman. I'm not. I think they got a lot like too many offensively minded players in their top four. So I would like to see them bring that in. And like, what can I even say about their offense, man? They have two of the best forwards in the league, and they can't win a fucking game. Like, how do you go about addressing that? I'd honestly be embarrassed to be an Oiler if I was Connor or Leon, and like, it's not even their fault. Like, not one bit. Like, they're the best players in the world. They're gonna say it's their fault just because they're the leaders on that team, but I mean, they've done everything they can to try to bring that team with them. Uh, I like the move to bring Hyman in when it started, but I don't think he brings the same energy as he did in Toronto. I don't know what it is about his game that's changed, but I don't think he has it anymore to be as efficient as he was in Toronto's top six. Maybe that's just because they had more well-rounded players like Tavares, but I don't
Well,
know.
man, it's just Edmonton's not as good. Simple as that.
Like I don't hate their top six, like Yamamoto and
Yamamoto is not going to stay. I think he's a trade piece.
I think he stays. And
No,
Ryan
man.
Nugent Hopkins, and I like their top six.
I don't like Yamamoto
I
there.
hate their bottom six, man. Their bottom six is atrocious.
I think you can move him too for a more experienced guy, like find a guy who's won a cup. Get an Alex Killorn in there, man.
First of all, what cap space? And second of all, Tampa's not going to let Killorn go.
They said, well, they'd let him go somehow.
For Yamamoto.
Yamamoto.
Player that's going to come in and demand twice as much as Alex Killorn's getting paid. I don't think so.
Give away Yamamoto on 2 firsts.
For Alex Killorn. What a trade.
I would at this point.
I'd fucking take that trade just to buy out Yamamoto. Holy fuck. I'd bury Yamamoto for 2 firsts, man. Are you kidding me? Fuck. Anyway, man, yeah, that's all I got to say on Edmonton, man. Just too bad their season's going the way it is from what they started out doing.
Yeah, well, they were only doing good because their power play was clipping at 50%.
Yeah,
they were just scoring more goals than their team. They weren't stopping any. They was like 5-4 wins, like 6-4 wins. Like
realistically, how long are you giving this core until you trade Leon or McDavid?
You're not trading them. They're going.
Gretzky got traded.
Yeah, but
Messier got traded.
Ken Holland's a pussy. He's not trading anybody. I'd trade him. I'd trade him for a bag of fucking pucks just to let everybody know how garbage they are.
Imagine just trading him just to trading McDavid just to send a message to your locker room. Just be like, look, anyone's expendable. Could be you next fucking.
Yeah. I'd trade McDavid to Arizona to sign Eric Stahl and said, this is what you made me do.
What would you get back from Arizona if you traded McDavid there?
Louis Eriksson and a third.
But I'd take that. Just send a message.
Just to send a message.
Future
then buy out Louis Eriksson instantly. Pay that off to
their buyout list is full, but you'd have to bury him in the minors.
You'd be paying that off to your fucking ancestors, ancestors were before us. Hold on. So you would be an ancestor. That's a bad fucking thing I just said. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Everybody knows what you mean. Just nobody knows what you mean. That's it, man. That's it.
Yeah, let's move on. Winnipeg.
Move on to a different team, man. Who's next?
I got the Winnipeg Jets. I don't have much for Winnipeg. I think they're not doing well, but I think they have a really good forward group. I think they have one of the better forward groups in the league, honestly. Defense core is a bit weak. I'd like to see a bit of an all-star defenseman slide in there for a good cap hit. Morrissey's good, but I think he needs help. Injuries have hurt this team too. With Wheeler being out and Scheifele was out a bit, and Ehlers was out a bit, so I believe the only way for Winnipeg to get out of this is just battle and just, maybe add a depth piece at the deadline because they're not going to bring in a big defenseman right now. So you just got to battle and just play. That's all I really have for Winnipeg. They got a really good team. I just think they need to just find their way out of it.
Yeah. I think they got a good team too. I think they have a Vezina caliber goalie in Hellebuyck. That hasn't been playing up to his standards, but I think that can change now when he starts getting down this stretch of, must-win games. They could use it. They could really use a backup, in my opinion. Hellebuyck plays the majority of the games, and he always will because how good he is. But in the case that he goes down with an injury, I mean, Winnipeg is fucked. They got like Eric Comrie back there, so I think just bringing in like a veteran goalie just to
wouldn't hurt to have a guy like a James Reimer back there sitting back.
I wouldn't mind a James Reimer or a Jonathan Bernier back there, honestly.
Just ready to jump in and take away like a 8-game stretch if he gets injured.
That's what I mean.
And win you 5 out of 8 or something.
Yeah, because I mean, if you put Comrie in there, he might steal you one game by luck, but odds are you got about a 50-50 chance of winning with that guy in the net.
Yeah,
which aren't great. Their defense also scares me a lot. They don't have any big name players, but they have a good mix of size and skill, I think. They've got a good 6-man crew, I think. Like you said, I wouldn't trade for a superstar. I think Morrissey, like Schmidt, they have some good names, man. They got Pion.
I don't like DeMello. I don't like DeMello or who's the other guy there? Dylan. Those aren't really good pieces for the money they're getting paid. I don't believe.
I don't like their money, but I like their players, man. They're good for the bottom 6.
You know who Winnipeg needs? Dmitry Orlov. Make it happen, Jets fans.
Jets fans can't do much. What are they going to knock on Orlov's door? Please come to my team. I'm not an Orlov. Like, I know, do it. Money too good. And was like, dude, I got an 8-ball of Coke right now.
You got blow.
I do it.
Bags pack. We go. Warm up car.
Yeah, let's go to Calgary. I need to get my plane. Little inside joke for podcast fans. So yeah, I think they have the second best all-around top 6 forwards of any Canadian franchise. We'll get to who I think is number 1 in a bit. Scheifele and Dubas look pretty good on paper as your 1-2 punch, but I don't know. Scheifele isn't himself this year with injuries. Connor could win a Rocket at some point, and injuries aside, Wheeler and Ehlers have been playing good. I guess they've just been out with injuries too long to.
They just got to battle, man. That's what it comes down to. They just got to battle it out.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think Perfetti coming in was a good call. I think Perfetti's going to be a stud.
Yeah, he's going to make him play better because then they're like, wow, we get to actually play better now. There's a young guy here. He could push us down.
Jobs, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think forward core is essentially perfect. I mean, I wouldn't change much about their forward core. I just wish they wouldn't get riddled with injuries so often. Defense needs to be finely tuned a bit, like you said, bring in a veteran guy, like a Dmitry Orlov type, or just someone big and skilled would be all right there, just to kind of tie it up a bit. I think you could bring in a veteran goalie too, just for playoffs, like we said, a Reimer, a Bernier. Any of these players would be better than Comrie, I think, just for a deep playoff run and in case of injuries. I really like this team, man. They're going to start playing good, and I think if they do start playing like they can play, I think they'll finish 2nd or 3rd in the Central, man. Central doesn't seem too hotly contested, except for I guess it is Minnesota, Vegas, and St. Louis right now are on fire, but
Minnesota's been on fire since 2019.
Yeah, but I think they can finish realistically 3rd in the Central if they turn it on.
Yeah, they're I think they're one of the better teams in the league. It's just not showing right now for some reason.
They got one of the better offense before.
This team could win a cup this year, and it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be blown away.
I think they're going to be the next team to win the Stanley Cup. Actually, I don't know. I think they're going to be the second next.
In Canada?
Yeah.
Man.
First coming up soon.
All right, Calgary, shall we?
Calgary. This team's going to win a cup. No, I'm joking.
Maybe.
I
think the Flames have the right group to win. That's the first thing I wrote down there, and I believe in the pieces they have there. I really love seeing Lucic on the second power play in front of the net. He has 9 goals this year. It's funny, Edmonton gave him away, and Lucic turns into like a fucking sniper.
How many goals Sutter, they have? 9?
He has 9 this year.
Holy fuck.
Daryl Sutter actually fixed Lucic's career, put her back on track, because he loves players like that, right?
Yeah. I think all it took was their players to buy in. Nobody was buying in with the old coach. Yeah. But as soon as he got there, he straightened them down. It took him a while. It took him a year. But now he's starting to get them clicking.
Calgary adds the right players. They added Coleman. This guy's won 2 cups. He was a major part of that Tampa Bay group when they won them cups. Killing major penalties.
Definitely.
He was major when it was on the line. They needed to kill a penalty. Coleman was on the ice, or he was fucking scoring shorthanded goals in the finals. He scored 2 shorthanded goals on Montreal. He was key in my opinion. Obviously not as key as a Braden Point or whatnot, but for what he is, and what he's getting paid, he's very valuable. I think great moves. I think Sutter knows how to coach a winning team. He's shown it before in LA. I'm not sure how much longer Monahan has left in Calgary. I feel like he's a player who could be moved this offseason for a little change, a little bit of different blood in Calgary. But I like Calgary. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy watching Calgary more than Oilers. Actually, I think they're higher up on my favorite teams list. And I love Kachuk. I like their pieces. Defense, I would like to see another defenseman added there. Goaltending, I think Vladar is a sneaky good backup, and I think Markstrom's probably top 10 goalie in the league. Probably, arguably, top 5 or 6, arguably. But it's just one of those things. They're going to have to play longer. They're not in the playoffs at the moment. The California teams are actually mental this year. Just play consistently. I think they're going to play a lot more games where the COVID stuff is on the go. Shut down for Christmas. I think Calgary's one of the teams in the league who's played the fewest amount of games since that. So they haven't really had enough time to be consistent or build up their game. So just give them a bit of time, and I think they're going to do well.
Yeah, definitely a team that could either make it or break it this year, and it looks like they're making it.
Yeah.
First thing I'll say is Jacob Markstrom is proving Vancouver wrong for letting them go. They put Demko, which is rightfully so, and they put Michael DiPietro above them. But Jacob Markstrom is. I think he's leading the league in shutouts, is he not? I think he has either 4 or 5 or 6 or something.
He's been a good goalie for a long time now.
And you honestly took the words out of my mouth. Vladar is a steal from Boston. I cannot believe they got 2 great goaltenders. I think they complement each other so well, where Markstrom can play the bulk of the game and play it well. And then when you need a rest for Markstrom, Vladar can also do it. I think he's got 2 or 3 shutouts on the season.
He can win you some games when you need it.
Yeah, for sure. Defense is young and growing together, but I think they could use one more veteran piece to lead the young guns. And I think they need a more offensive person to run the power play. I think they got that Anderson kid doing it now, Rasmus, running the power play now. I wouldn't mind seeing someone with a bit more experience. I don't even know who you'd bring in.
They had Giordano running it when he was there.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the experience and knows how it works. But I'd like to see someone come in and take over that power play a bit more.
They needed a guy. They needed a more. I think the offensive defenseman Calgary would benefit from that. A guy who can run the power play, but probably just second pair, first pair. Just chill out. Don't worry about holding in penalty kills or anything. Just go out there and run the power play.
Yeah, and obviously log some minutes. Probably get 18 minutes out of him a night or something.
Mm-hmm. John Klingberg style maybe. He would benefit your power play.
I could see that. Definitely. Forwards have a healthy mix of grit and skill. I think what you're saying about Lucic and Kachuk is 100% right. They got hard-hitting players that can also put the puck in the net, which is what you want.
I think that's what teams need to win, and Edmonton doesn't have that at all.
Definitely.
Neither does Vancouver, and you need that to win. You need Kachuk and Lucic type, but you need
Yeah,
them to play well. You can't have them playing like shit either. So you got to find an area where they work.
exactly. I think Johnny Hockey is the real story here. I think he's outplaying himself from his past 2 years. He had a great 2018-19, put up 99 points, but since then he's really fell from where he was. Um, Obviously, that's good to see. A lot of veteran presence in the forward as well. They got Richardson, they got Lucic, they got Blake Coleman, like you were saying. Just guys that know what it takes to win. So love that. Overall, Calgary should definitely make the playoffs. I can't see them not making it with the team they got and how good they're playing. I wouldn't mind seeing them get a top four D-man at the trade deadline, like you said, a Klingberg would be good there. A Chikrin, maybe. I don't know. One of those two players would be. I don't know. I wouldn't take Chikrin. I'd take Klingberg over Chikrin.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, great team.
Exactly. Good analysis, my friend.
Who was the last on this list?
We had the best team in Canada, and it's not even close, man. Be honest.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. Okay. I'm gonna hope this isn't too biased, but they're obviously the best team in Canada. But the only thing they need to do is figure out how to hold a fucking lead. Sometimes I still get into that fucking run of giving up leads, and I don't like it. You still win a lot of games, and they do come back sometimes when they give up leads, but they need to tighten that up before the playoffs roll around. Because if they're playing a Florida team, Florida, Tampa, something like that, you're not going to be coming back when you give up leads. So I think they got a group that can make a run. I think they need to be tougher mentally. I think it's a grind, much like St. Louis teams over the years. They had to play so many years in the playoffs where they pushed through. I mean, I remember watching St. Louis in 2012 and 15 and 17, 18. Like, they were in the playoffs a lot of years, and they never broke through.
Yeah,
When
they
they
always
did,
got kicked out by
I always
Chicago
got
or
kicked out,
something.
man. They were always a first round. A, a, every now and then they make it to the second round, but they wouldn't last. I think that's what Toronto is. I think when they break through, they're gonna be able to, if they beat a team like Tampa or Florida. I mean, I think it's gonna go to their heads, and I think they're gonna succeed. I'd like to see him grab a depth defenseman. I think a guy like Dermott is expendable for somebody like a Scott Mayfield or somebody like that, a little bit more sound
I
defensively.
wouldn't mind picking someone up off of Islanders.
Yeah,
Islanders
more.
got a good defense.
I'd like to see a defensive defenseman added to that bottom pair in case Liljegren and Sandin in the playoffs. You don't want to make mistakes. Yeah, but I think they just got to be consistent and fix the mental game. Just play tough, play hard for 60 minutes. I think they have everything they need to win. I think they know that, and I think that's why it's such a rush with the Leafs right now to be successful.
Definitely. I just want to put some breaking news out there. I was just checking the hockey scores, and Chris Kreider is leading the fucking league in goals right now with 30. He just scored again. So
That's mental.
he's passed Ovi in the Rocket race.
He scored against the Leafs the other day.
Yeah. So did Ryan Reeves. Why fuck?
Twice.
That must have killed you, yeah.
Man, I don't even want to talk about that.
Yeah. Speaking about the Leafs, didn't have much faith in Jack Campbell coming in this year. I thought he got lucky last year, but he's proved me wrong at every single turn. Hopefully Mrazek can come back and, just relieve him in some games and just, come back from these injuries because it's too bad to see him. I loved him in Detroit. So it's too bad to see him go around and just get injured at every stop.
Very injury prone.
I'll say something now that's controversial, and you won't fucking hear it from a lot of people, and you don't even hear it from Leafs faithful here, Stephen Hale. I think the decor is fine. The media is blowing this up. They're telling you it's broken and they should just trade for better pieces. But every team's defense takes time to grow. Toronto's is no different. Toronto fans and media are just impatient, I think, and they'll lead GMs to make bad moves to address fan outcry that isn't there. I don't watch them play. I can't see the mistakes they're making, but I think they just got to be patient with this decor. I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I'm looking on paper and looking at highlights. I'm not watching the full 60 minutes, so I could be wrong, but I think especially the media just blows this out of proportion
So
so much.
bad, man. I don't pay attention to the media.
And just hit this, bro. You know what it is? The goaltending is sick in Toronto right now, and they got nothing else to complain about. I think that's what it is. They always used to complain about Anderson. That was the number one story. Now that he's gone and Jack Campbell's playing good, they got nothing else to complain about.
There
So they're
has
just
to be.
right
There's
after the
always
defense.
something.
There's always
As they
something.
say,
Fucking Toronto
there's
media
always something.
is unreal. I can't stand the media there.
I hate it too, man. I don't pay attention to the media. I just enjoy the team. I love to watch.
Yeah. I'll say a couple things now that you'll love, Steve. Best top six forwards, almost out of any team in the league. I mean, how are you going to go wrong with Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander? Who else in the top six? Is it Mikheyev or is it Bunting still? Or
Bunting, Mikheyev, Kashe.
yeah, so Kosky's playing good too this year. I like him this year.
He's injured now, or COVID protocol, whatever. Some bullshit like that.
Some bullshit. I'll say another thing right now. Matthews and John Tavares might be the best 1-2 punch in the league.
Tavares having a great year.
They're second fiddle to Leon and Connor, but I mean, even Crosby and Malkin are starting to drop off now. Leon and Connor aren't playing at best right now, so right now I think they might be the best 1-2 punch. To be honest, if I were Kyle Dubas, and you're not going to like this, I'd be looking at moving either Nylander or Marner. Not because I don't like the players, because I do. It's because like the cap there is just so tight. They could trade one of those players and bring back 2 or 3 roster spots immediately, plus picks. That it would improve their middle and bottom 6, and it'd also give a good spot for a Robertson to move in when Robertson is ready in a year or two. So I think that would be the move for me right now if I was Dubas. I know you don't agree with me, but I don't know. And I feel like I wish they would utilize like Wayne Simmons, Kyle Clifford, and like depth, like role players in that organization more. It seems like they're always leaning towards skill and speed, but sometimes you just like got to do what Calgary's doing and just have that grit and that veteran presence in there. So I don't know. They're my pick to win the Stanley Cup. Out of all the Canadian teams, I think they got the next cup. I was saying Edmonton, but they're kind of dog shit right now. So right now it's Leafs, and hopefully they can find a way to find some cap and address their bottom depth forwards.
One thing we both forgot to mention is how Alexander Kerfoot's having a solid year. We're talking about Kadri in that trade. He's definitely the best piece in that trade, but
yeah.
Kerfoot has 27 points in 38 games. He's a plus 17.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't like Kerfoot last year. I thought they were going to try to move him in the offseason, but I'm happy they didn't. I didn't. Happy.
I didn't like Kerfoot last year either, and now he's like every game he's killing a penalty. He does something impactful in that game, whether it's scoring a goal, shorthanded, killing a penalty, or just making a good play.
Definitely.
So I think he's a real sneaky piece to that top 6. I was saying Kashe, but it's really Kerfoot who slides up there. You completely left my mind for a second. So
I thought he was a natural center, but I guess he can play the
wing. He's been playing with Tavares and Nylander.
Oh, no wonder he's having such a season. Those guys are fucking tearing it up too.
Yeah, and Kerfoot gets in the right spots to receive pucks from those guys. Man. Yeah. So nice analysis, my friend.
Yeah, you too, man. That was a great little session here. Hopefully, our Canadian fans blow this up on YouTube and the podcast network. Yeah.
Hopefully, our Ecuador fans like this one.
Yes, shout out to Ecuador, our one fan.
Shout out to
Arm the Sharks.
Arm the Sharks.
You're a fucking beauty, man. Thank you for commenting and being our most loyal YouTube supporter so far.
Yeah, you're loyal, man, and we look forward to hearing some more comments.
Or a lady. We don't know if you're a lady.
Yeah, whatever you are, man, it doesn't matter to me.
No, me neither, man. I love having you around the YouTube channel, man. You bring a good energy to it.
I love seeing it. Anyways, that's it for me for this week.
Same here. I guess we'll close the show out, eh? It's always sad to close the show out, but I have a lot of fun here every week.
Yeah, it was a good night. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Hockey Tank Podcast. Listen to us on Apple Music, Spotify, your fucking platform of podcasts of choice. It's probably those two because nobody else listens to it or anything else. We know that. Instagram, Hockey Tank. Just look us up and do us a favor. We're slowly growing. It's not a big jump, but we're just happy to do it regardless.
That's right, man. We'd love to see more people in the comments, man. We're only getting friggin' bots every week saying, you should promote this on this bullshit site. Like, it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram. Do yourself a favor. We got some funny stuff every now and then.
Not like I said, not as active as we'd like to be. We're both going.
We're working.
Working, right? So, but I will never leave you guys out of the dark. We'll always tell you what's going on with the channel.
We won't go 10 or 12 days without keeping you updated. There's going to be YouTube posts. There's going to be Instagram posts. There's going to be something.
And more in depth Newfie of the week. Caleb does a great job of breaking it down, and I mean, we can't have like an hour-long session on every Newfoundlander. Caleb does a superb job of getting in and doing it quick. But for the full breakdowns, I do it all on Instagram. I look up the players and go through their journey to the NHL and really give them in-depth explanation of how they got there and where they're to now. So I think that's good.
Nice. I guess that's it, my
Steven,
friend.
thank you for joining me. Listeners at home, thank you for joining me. And as always, we will see you next week. Take care and stay safe.